Hello everyone, this is Priyanga or Annadurai. In UPSC Civil Service Examination, the second stage, that is the mains examination, is said to be the game changer. Of the total 2025 marks, mains examination corresponds to 1750 marks. Of the 7 papers included in the calculation of final marks, the essay paper is the unique one. Having no predefined syllabus of its own, the essay paper is of 250 marks, where a candidate has to write 2 essays, 125 marks each. But among aspirants, it generates mixed emotions. While some perceive it to be easy, others feel confused. In this video, I'll be sharing my strategy for essay writing. Please remember there is no one single strategy for an essay paper. It differs from person to person and depends on their thought process. So feel free to neglect, modify or omit the strategy given here depending on your needs. Let's get started. There is a popular misconception that essay paper is devoid of syllabus. But in UPSC notification, it is clearly mentioned that candidates may be required to write essays on multiple topics. They will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay, to arrange their ideas in orderly fashion, and to write concisely. Credit will be given for effective and exact expression. The keywords are keep closely to the subject, arrange the ideas in orderly fashion, write concisely, effective, and exact expression. So these 4 can be considered as evaluation parameters for the essay. In UPSC essay paper, a candidate is given 3 hours and is asked to write 2 essays. The pattern of the essay paper is such that it is divided into 2 sections A and B, and each section carries 4 essay topics. Among the 4, the candidate is supposed to choose 2 topics each from one section. Each essay topic consists of 125 marks. Over the years, it is observed that the average marks in essay paper ranges from 120 to 130, and the toppers even land around 150s and 160s. Irrespective of the myths and misconceptions associated with this paper, it is ideally a mark fetcher, provided you know the right strategy and you have right amount of practice. Another noticeable change over the years is that the philosophical type of essays has become unskippable, which means all 4 essay topics in a particular section is of philosophical nature. Although some aspirants feel uncomfortable around the philosophical topics, it is actually a very easy one. As I already told, all you need is the right strategy and right amount of practice. Before proceeding further, I would like to address some of the most commonly asked questions with respect to essay writing. Number 1. Points or paragraph? It is always suggested to go with paragraphs with respect to essay writing. The point-wise answer writing approach is only for general studies paper and it is not advisable for essay papers. Number 2. Use of representational elements like pictures, graphs, etc. It is usually not advisable to bring the representational elements in essay writing. Number 3. There is a myth associated with choosing of an essay topic that one could fetch more marks by choosing a complex or an unconventional topic. But it is not true. Always choose a topic which is close to your heart, which you feel you will be able to express yourself to the maximum. Number 4. Mind map preparation. I consider this part to be a crucial part of preparation. You will be given 3 hours to write 2 essays, which means you have 1.5 hours for one essay. I usually spend the first 15 minutes in preparing mind map for the essay and the next 1 hour 15 minutes for writing the essay. It is very crucial that only with the mind map preparation, you will be able to generate the flow of the essay. And finally, how to start writing an essay. From a beginner's perspective, you might not have enough content for writing a 1.5 hour essay. So it is advisable To start with mind map making, it usually takes 20 to 30 minutes for preparing a mind map for an essay topic. Mind map preparation is nothing but contemplating on the essay topic from different perspectives. I'll be telling about the different themes like temporal, sectoral, flow, societal, etc. And you can prepare your mind map according to those themes. Take your previous year question papers and start preparing mind maps for those essay topics. After completing mind maps for 15 to 20 topics, you can start writing an essay for 1.5 hours. Like any other answer in any of the UPSC Mains paper, essay paper is also of IBC format, which is Introduction, Body and Conclusion. The only expectation from the examiner's point of view are the 4 parameters which we have discussed earlier. That is, keeping close to the subject, ideas in orderly fashion, concise writing, effective and exact expression. With respect to the introduction, there are various methods to start an essay. As already told, nothing is predetermined. Some of the famous methods are anecdote, incidents from real life, current affair events, recent report or data from an organization, defining and explaining the specific terms, quotes, or poetry. Among all these methods, I always used anecdote or real life incidents to start an essay. But an ideal introduction is one which suits the topic. Anecdote is nothing but stories. It could be self-made one or one which could reflect the common folklores. Incidents from the life of famous personalities, incidents from the current events, incidents from historical events are excellent way of starting an essay. These 2 methods particularly hold good for starting any philosophical essay. Whereas for non-philosophical topics, current affair events, data from reports, or definition of the terms would be useful. Let me read out my introduction for the essay, Education is a Bridge from Misery to Hope. Centuries ago, few pandits came across a handsome young man who was cutting a branch of a tree upon which he was sitting. They said, "Oh young man, stop it, else you will fall down." The man thought for a while and replied, "So what? It took me so long to climb the tree. At least I'll come down quicker." The pandits, who were already looking for an opportunity to avenge an intelligent princess, took this young man to her and lied that he was their guru. The pandits played cards skillfully and got the princess married to this young man. Only days later, she discovered his ignorance and chased him away. Years went on. The entire town was talking of a well-versed Sanskrit poet. It was that young man. He spent years to study hard, became a laureate, and he was Kalidasa, the author of famous Abhignana Shakuntalam, Raghuvamsha, and so on. I'll read out one more of my introduction. The essay topic is Suffering is the Essence of Success. Thousands of years ago, a warrior was caught in the battle of thoughts before entering his warfield. He was worried because the war was confronted between himself and his brothers. Dejected, he was hoping to give up. His charioteer, who was also his well-wisher, understood his state of mind. Knowing well that the war is inevitable and also a necessity to ward off evildoers, the charioteer conversed with the warrior. When the warrior was emoted with the possible death and suffering of his brothers, the charioteer emphasized on the need and the effects of the war. For these sufferings will lead to the success of Dharma against Adharma, said the charioteer. I wrote these 2 essays in different points of time during my preparation. I do not say that this is an ideal way of starting an essay, but it could also be done in this manner. The major things to be remembered while writing an introduction are: the introduction should be relevant to the essay. It should reflect the statement of the essay. It is better to end your introduction with the essay topic. The things which are to be avoided in an essay introduction is: it should not be broken down into too many paragraphs. It should not exceed more than one page, and no point should be repeated more than once in an essay. The introduction is the space where the examiner will fall in love with your essay at the first sight. So make sure it is worthy enough to grab that attention. Now coming to the body of the essay. There are n number of methods to structure an essay. But the key point to be remembered is that in the final exam, you will be writing 2 essays. And care should be taken that the structure of these 2 essays are completely different from one another. Otherwise, it would do nothing good but reduce the enthusiasm of the evaluator. The body of the essay is where you dump all your contents with respect to the topic. This is the core part where you are going to put forth all your arguments and your findings. I'll now give you various themes under which the structure and content of the essay could be built upon. Depending on the topic of the essay and the suitability of the theme, it is left to you to arrange this content. First is the temporal theme. In temporal theme, you will navigate an idea from ancient to the current times, which means you will contemplate upon the idea in ancient, medieval, modern, and also current times. For example, let us consider the topic media. From ancient to current times, you will write upon the different medias which existed. Right from the Indus Valley civilization where different seals have used, then coming to the time periods of kings where you have used doves to transport messages, and particularly during the time period of Ashoka where inscriptions are used as media, and gradually you should travel to the modern times which includes newspapers, radios, televisions, social media, mobile applications, etc. Depending on the topic, you would include the advantages, the usability, the application of media, and also the disadvantages, fake news, infodemic, misinformation, etc. So this kind of temporal theme will be suitable for essays which could be explored from ancient to current times. The next theme would be sectoral theme. It is nothing but looking at an essay from different sectoral perspectives. This is also famously termed as speclic approach, where you would include the concepts of society, polity, economy, culture, laws, international relations, and history. I found the sectoral essays to be useful in building philosophical topics. In my sectoral theme, I add more number of topics, which is nothing but the reflection of a general studies syllabus. The subthemes are history, society, geography, polity, governance, social justice, international relations, economy, agriculture, science and tech, environment, defense, internal security, disaster management, and finally, the ethics. It may not be possible for incorporating all these subthemes into an essay. Also, incorporation of all these subthemes would look like overloading. So, care should be taken to choose the subthemes which are suiting to the nature of the topic. Let us take the example of the topic women. From the history subtheme, you can write about the ancient sabhas and the representation of women, ancient women poets like Gargi, medieval women rulers like Razia Sultan, and the contribution of women leaders in Indian independence movement like Sarojini Naidu, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, etc. From the societal perspective, you can discuss about the matriarchal society in the Northeast India, the prevalence of patriarchy in Indian societies, the declining child sex ratios, etc. From polity perspective, we can mention the constitution, the concept of gender justice, the reservation for women, the representation of women in parliament, etc. Also, you can mention some of the policies and schemes of the government. In the economy subtheme, you can write about the contribution of women in economy, the importance of assigning economic value to the services provided by women in the household, etc. In agriculture, you can speak about feminization, the position of women farmers, etc. Apart from this, you can give examples of women leaders in various fields from national as well as international level. In environment subscheme, you can give the example of Greta Thunberg for the Fridays for Future movement, Also, you could give the example of Elangbam of Manipur, who was appointed as Green Ambassador. From economy perspective, you could state the example of Geeta Gopinath or Kiran Majumdar. So giving as many examples to support your arguments will fetch you more mark. It is as simple as that. Your content should be closely related to the topic, and also you should explore different dimensions as possible. It is reasonable to accept that there are some topics where these two methods cannot be utilized to their fullest potential. In those kind of topics, you can use a mix and match approach and build the content by mixing the temporal as well as sectoral theme. In dealing with conceptual topics like justice, truth, success, etc., you could always go for this mix and match approach. There is another theme to be particularly noted, which I call it the flow theme. The content building in this flow theme is linear in model. That is, you contemplate upon a given topic from the individual point of view, then move on to the family point of view, then community point of view, societal point of view, regional point of view, national point of view, and finally the international point of view. Another hint is that while providing examples, make sure you include ample examples with respect to weaker sections, be it women, girls, children, orphans, scheduled caste, tribes, poor, differently able, senior citizens, migrants, economically weaker sections, etc. The major points to be noted in content building for an essay is that you should be creative. Try to repeat the terms in the topic throughout the essay. Provide a broad and inclusive content. Always take a convenient middle path. Don't go for extremes. If you have any doubt in taking stance in an essay, please follow the idea of our constitution. Whatever is stated in our constitution is always right, and that is the middle path to be taken. This will help you in dealing with controversial topics. Another important thing to be remembered is that you should always keep your paragraphs sweet and short. You should create a natural link between the two consecutive paragraphs. While it may seem to be confused now, over the time with enough practice, you will surely be able to perfect this. In our IBC format, the next part of our essay is conclusion. We all know that conclusion is also like the introduction, which is a small part. And after reading the conclusion, the evaluator will get ready to give your marks. So you should create an environment which is favorable for fetching more marks. It cannot be done only in the conclusion. So it is always advisable to include a pre-conclusive stance before the conclusion. It is nothing but a link between the body part of the essay and the conclusion part of the essay. This is where you articulate all your decisions and show yourself as a problem solver. It is similar to that of a way forward in a general studies question. This is the part where you provide your suggestions keeping in mind the country's diversity and disparity. You could mention the schemes and measures of the government, case studies from various parts of the world, etc. Remember, this part should be written from the perspective of pan-India approach. You should incorporate the diversal elements of our country and prove yourself to be a broad and an inclusive thinker. The last and the final part of the essay is nothing but the conclusion. The conclusion has to be short and sweet. I have the habit of ending the conclusion with the story which I started in introduction. Particularly if it is a self-made story, you can reiterate those characters here. Remember, you should never open anything in your conclusion. You should not bring any new dimension to your conclusion. Then your essay would feel like being incomplete. The content of your conclusion should be positive, impactful, and it should always be closely related with the topic. Another best way to deal with the conclusion is quoting the ideas of great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Ambedkar, Nehru, etc. Let me read out my conclusion to the topic, Suffering is the Essence of Success. As a famous saying goes by, necessity is the mother of invention, and so is the suffering that forms the essence of success. We see colorful butterflies in our garden. We enjoy the beauty. We appreciate their freedom. But little do we acknowledge that it has undergone tremendous sufferings to transform itself from a worm to a cocoon and then to a colorful butterfly. Next time we see one, let us appreciate its sufferings too. For suffering is the essence of success, and by appreciating the suffering, we make our success much more valuable and grateful. Another example for the topic conservation is a state of harmony between man and nature. The importance of conservation is felt by the reality that on degradation of nature starts the deleterious effects on human life. The extreme events of heat waves in Europe and USA and severe floods in tropical countries presents the proof. Every species on Mother Earth has their own ecological niche, a unique role in the ecosystem, including the humans. Having disturbed it, we are solely responsible to conserve it, to bring back the state of harmony required for the survival of the planet. The child who would not respect his mother is the most ingratitude creature. Your conclusion need not be exceptional, but it should definitely be convincing. It should convince your evaluator to grant you 75 marks. As I have already told, there is no one single method for writing an essay. You should pick and choose the theme which suits you. Each and every aspirant has a different style of writing, and to find the better one which suits you, you must start exploring. And exploration starts with practice. So start writing your essays. Remember, practice results in perfection. Please feel free to write the suggestions and doubts in the comment section below. As I have always told, do your best and the rest will automatically fall in place. Thanks for hearing me towards the end.